Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the enthusiastic convo I had with Di Manuel in our last episode. If you haven't yet listened to that episode, feel free to go back and listen to that interview and then come back and listen to this one, or you can just let it play backwards and you can see if you resonate with what we are resonating with. Whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. It's
however
super
you want
fun.
to do it.
You know, I'm actually struggling with that kind of like doing it backwards situation. I'll tell you why. So there's this podcast I'm listening to, and they actually drop like 2 or 3 episodes in a day. And so, which is because it's
episodes, or they're adding to it's the whole new episode?
It's a whole new episode.
Oh, that seems
it's
like a lot of work.
Part 1, part 2. It's like way too much work. And they also have way too many ads. And like, not like we have ads. Look, I love ads. This is how things go. But they have like 4 minutes of the same ad. And I'm not even going to say it, but I have it memorized at this point. It's just like repeats. But I want to know what's going on. And you cannot go from the back to the front. You have to start with the front. And it's just too much work. Well, that's feedback for them. They're not listening. It's okay.
Nailed it.
Well, I'm so happy you're here listening to this one.
Yeah.
We
won't have 4 minutes of the same ad. Don't worry.
No, we have different ads.
Yes.
Yeah. And also it's so exciting. So we've been back for a bit from our Mexico vacation, which was much fun. But what's coming up next was like, we're definitely in March Madness now. Yes. M-A-T, not M-A-D. The MAD starts later in the month, which always baffles me because it's not really March Madness because it goes in April. But March Madness is where you do the Pilates classical mat exercises one every day for the whole month of March. And so in honor of March Madness, we are doing a workshop on the roll-up this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I got my OPC teachers joining me, and we're going to do this amazing workshop where we actually really dial in all the different reasons why you might be struggling with this exercise, how to help you do it. If you're like, what's the roll up? It's the one where your legs are together. You try to sit up from off the floor, and usually your legs go flying around.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. Even if you have like a 6-pack, it's actually even harder for you, most likely. So you'll want to definitely check out our workshop on that. If you have been wanting to understand the roll up in a better way, if you've been wanting to dive into your mat, if you've just been wanting to have like someone, teach you don't have to be a teacher to do it, then that's workshops happening this month. You can go to onlinepilatesclasses.com to get on that wait list. They'll put the link in the show notes. And we're on the countdown, this monthly countdown. We're like 6 months, 7 months away from, literally 7 months away from being in Cambodia.
That's right. Yeah.
Brett, I don't think we told people the story about in Monterey when we ran into a girl from Cambodia.
Oh my gosh. So this was the most fun. We were, whenever we go to these big events and there's like hundreds of people and stuff, we're always with everybody. Well, somehow, like very randomly, we found ourselves like ready to go to dinner, and we hadn't made any plans with anyone, and there wasn't like a big party standard. Like we just were like, oh, let's go to dinner, just the two of us. So that was actually nice. And we were like, well, where do we go? So I just Googled gluten-free near me and found a burger joint, and it was like, okay, that's fine. I had gluten-free burger buns, and so we walked over.
It was only a block away, so we're like, that's a win.
It was like right there, and they had kombucha on draft.
They had hard kombucha on draft, which I was like, done. And then I saw they had sweet potato fries. I was like, well, this is just the most amazing thing, and I was so excited.
Yeah.
And the girl behind the counter was so excited to see how excited I was.
She was super cute. She was like really enthusiastic.
Yes.
And behind her on the wall was a whole bunch of money.
It was a bunch of foreign money, I should say.
Yeah.
And so
I saw Costa Rica, India, England, Canada.
Yeah. So I looked at Brad and I said, do we have any of our Cambodian money in your wallet? And he was like looking at me like, I don't think I have any from this last trip. And she is like, you have Cambodian money?
Yeah, she's like, why do you have Cambodian money?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, we go there all the time. We lead retreats. She's like, I am Cambodian. I am Cambodian.
Yeah.
And so we had the most amazing time. We started taking
Not only that, she had only moved to the States like a year and a half ago and only been in Monterey for 6 months or so. And so suddenly we began to just talk to her in Khmer.
Yeah, we talked to her in Khmer, and she was so impressed with our Khmer. Of course, our Khmer was actually from the same area that she's from, so the dialect is very similar, and we could understand and chat with her.
She still speaks way faster than us. Way faster than us. But it was so much fun.
It was so fun. And so it got us like really even more excited to go back to Cambodia because, it's not every day that we run into someone who actually can speak Khmer. So anyways, we're going to Cambodia. We want you to come with us. You can go to lesleylogan.co/retreats to get information.
Right. Yeah. /retreats will add you to the wait list. So lesleylogan.co/retreats. And then that will trip an email that'll show you what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So we would love to have you come with us. If you're like, Cambodia, no, it's not as scary as you think it is. It's actually
it's the most beautiful place.
The most beautiful place. And the trip getting there is actually really easy. I know it's on the other side of the world for most of us. But, when you fly internationally, they give you free booze and lots of movies. Good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also we spend a week together at our house, and it's always a small group, so it's just like it's truly a retreat. It's like a retreat from your. It's so much fun. So join us on this next one because we're only doing one this year, and we want you on it.
Yepers.
All right, before we get into Di's interview amazingness, do we have an audience question?
We sure do. Somebody very laughingly asked, wait, you could do Pilates at the wall?
Yeah, I've been getting sent.
Wasn't really actually a question. The question would be, can you do Pilates at the wall?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes.
Well, because my mom and I think 3 other people in our family have sent me an ad of like people doing Pilates at the wall. And you can't, Pilates in air quotes at the wall. And then it's just, anyways, the ads that I'm seeing for Pilates at the wall are awesome exercises that are not Pilates, but they are low impact. They are body weight. And I don't think they're going to make your butt look like that. I definitely think that takes some more squats than that. But please, by all means, if you like the workout and makes you go, have fun. But you can do Pilates at the wall. There are actual Pilates exercises that you can do at the wall.
Yes.
And I have been doing them at the wall for years and teaching them. And even Joseph Pilates taught people Pilates at the wall. There were squats at the wall. There was a roll down at the wall. There's a lot of things you could do that are really amazing. And so when you only are at an airport or you're at a hotel and you're afraid to be on the floor there's a significant amount of exercises, both Joseph Pilates approved and then ones that I've taken from being on the ground to being at the wall to challenge our balance and our asymmetries. Some that my teacher taught me. And so if you go into the show notes, there is a link.
Yeah, we have an entire blog post all about Pilates exercises you can do at the wall over at onlinepilatesclasses.com.
Yeah.
So we'll include that link for you.
You would do them to really better your posture and help you work a long lifted tall spine. It might not be as accessible for you on the floor as it is on a wall. There's sometimes just a bit more feedback depending on how squishy your mat is. Squishy. So, but what's so funny is ever since people have been sending me this ad asking me do I have these exercises in a class? My blog post about these exercises has been going through the roof. It has taken the #1 blog post off its throne.
Yep.
Everyone's doing this. So I love that people are Googling it. I love that they're coming across our exercises because they'll keep you strong, safe, and they'll actually be super effective for you having an awesome tall spine, better digestion, better posture, better life.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about Di Manuel. Di has your back when it comes to sustaining personal change in your life. As a change advocate and coach, he shares how his personal story led him to change both externally and internally, and to maintain that change. That's the big part, the sustaining of it. Di has been proudly dating his wife for 23 years. He's the father of 2 girls and he's also a lifestyle mentor. As a digital thought leader, author, lifestyle mentor, and TED Talk host, he engages and challenges people to live healthy lifestyles.
Yeah, I really enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah, his enthusiasm was contagious.
Yeah, it was so
very
much
bubbly
fun.
personality.
And then he was like, I was just going off of your energy, and I'm being real honest. Like prior to hitting, like coming to that Zoom class, I was like, okay, here we go, we got this, you know. So like maybe it was mutual, but it was. I think we just like kind of fed off each other. So it was a lot of fun. He said so many things that we could talk about forever. Like, just go listen to the podcast. But I loved this because this is something that I also saw in BJ Fogg's chapter on like getting your family to have better habits in your life that you wish that they would do.
Right.
And so I was talking about like how to support other people in their change. So, you know, it can be hard to be a bystander when people are trying to make changes or there's changes you want them to make in their life. And we just want to like do it for them and like tell them. But what Di was saying is like compliment the things that they're doing that you want them to keep doing. So like if they're, you know, if they're doing something that you're like, oh yes, they made their bed. It's like, acknowledge that and be very specific. Don't go, great job this morning. Like, loved how you made your bed this morning. That is amazing. That's so great. Like, it's just, isn't it so nice when your bed's made?
Yeah, he was specifically talking about his daughters and how they encourage and applaud the positive aspects of the things that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then try to catch them in the act of doing something right so you can support them. So try to actually like be around for that. And so there was a whole chapter on this in BJ's book. So I loved this part, and it happened to do with like this father who just would like just butt heads with his son. And he would just go like, can you just clean out the espresso thing and the coffee when you're done using it? And the kid would like grunt, like, of course. And then so one day he didn't actually like completely clean it, but he did like partially clean it, and he's like, hey, thanks for doing that thing. And the next week it got better, and then he'd so complimented the next step, and it's like those baby steps. I wish that it worked on August. I wish that when I complimented him on not barking, he would stop, but
You're
it's
so
fine.
good at not barking.
That's so good. You just left him alone, and he's like, oh, I left him alone. But at any rate, I think that this is really important, whether it's a child that's in your life or a partner in your life or a sibling or a parent
or someone on your team at
yes.
work.
Yeah, well, because people, like the way our brain works, you guys, is that we're going to do everything to lean into what feels good and get away from what doesn't feel good. So you getting mad at someone or you like making conflict around something isn't going to make them go, you know what I should do right now? Like do the thing that like my brain wants to like run away from. So anyways, I just thought that was a really great part of the conversation that we could all use, because who doesn't want to like be told good things about themselves?
Yeah. And I think you mentioned something in the convo, when you as the supporter of someone going through change, we often just have this tendency to see only the bad shit. Why did you do this? You did this terrible thing again. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Right. And we focus on the negative. And when instead you're focusing on the positive, you're passing that perspective along to the person who's affecting change. Because one thing he shared about his personal story was how he felt trapped in his downward spiral, you know, where he started putting on weight, and he knew he was putting on weight. And then what did he really just want to do? He just want to play video games, watch movies, and eat junk food. So he would binge eat, which just makes the problem even worse. And then he feels even worse about himself, you know, and then everyone's commenting about him and he's feeling even worse about himself. Right. But if you are able to start sharing the positive, hey, nice job. You know, like that sandwich looks really great. You know, if it's the sandwich that would be beneficial for them, you know, kind of a thing, then that lets them go, oh, there are good things that I can focus on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we just get into a trap too. You know, we get so stuck on the negative. You know?
Oh, well, of course, 'cause that's what our brains are conditioned to do. But I mean, like when he, you know, when he told his dad he wanted a bicycle, his dad didn't go, well, you're just going to play video. You're not going to use it. You're just playing video games anyways. So I was like, let's go get a bicycle.
Right.
So like just the people in your life who you can tell are trying to make change, help them. if they're asking for it in that moment, if you can. And if not, like, at least like tell them when, instead of going, yes, someday, or this weekend. It's like, how about 3:00 on Friday? Like, you know what I mean? Like, the more we can do this for each other, the more people will do it for us. That's the way the world works. What's one thing you love that he brought up?
Yeah. So we were talking about this during his bio, but sustaining change is where the problem usually lies, because at first you have this enthusiasm and this excitement around it, and so your willpower is stronger. But he said, and I thought this was really interesting, he said that is a depleting resource, right? So imagine a pile of gold. If you keep spending it, the pile goes away. It's a depleting resource.
Yeah.
Your enthusiasm to embrace the change that you may want to see in your life, right? He said, so some tricks, some tips that you can use to maintain the change is to decide. He said it all starts with a decision, but get the hardest thing out of the way first. So he talked about the book, Eat the Frog.
Yep.
And if the hardest thing you have to do that day is eat a frog, then you should do it. Absolutely, the first possible thing you can do is eat the frog, because in the rest of the day, you did the hardest thing already, right? And he said the initial steps take the most amount of motivation and activation. And when are you most likely to have the most motivation and activation? It's probably, in the earlier in the day, when your brain is the freshest. Mm-hmm. So, and then he also talked about smart goal setting, which I've heard before. I thought this was really cool. In fact, I'm sure we've talked about it on the pod, because I think another guest talked about it. I can't remember now. But SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, time-based goal setting, right? So what would be a SMART goal that someone who wanted to become more physically active, what would be a SMART goal that they could set for themselves? So specific,
something that's specific. So instead of saying, I'm going to go for a run, it's like, actually, I'm going to run 1 mile.
Okay. Then measurable.
Yep.
1 mile.
In the mornings.
Actionable. So that's something that you can do. It's not necessarily something that you're relying on others to do for you. You can go do it. Mm-hmm. Realistic. Is 1 mile realistic?
Well, it depends on the person. But if I add my dog, probably a little bit. Now I've got the dog exercise in there at the same time.
Okay.
And
for me, I can tell you right now, running a mile, maybe that's not realistic.
Well, you know what? We're recording this before you're about to run a 5K. So I guess we better figure that out.
I can slowly walk, jog, trip, stumble a mile. But running a half a mile, I could certainly do.
And then time-based for this month.
Yeah, when do you want to do said goal?
But also like there's got to be a time setting. So like, when is it starting? When is it ending? Or when you're reevaluating it, so that it's not like I'm doing this for the rest of my life. That's overwhelming. Right.
Yeah. So start now, stop when, or you're going to do it before X date. Yep. Yeah. So anyway, that's great. So these are some pretty straightforward, action items that we could be taking in our own lives.
Yeah, with anything we're doing.
Yeah. So whether that is, I know one thing that you really started doing with you wanted to change your mornings up.
Yeah.
And so you made a decision to get your own workout in. So you had to make time to do that. And to do that, you moved your clients so that you actually had the time in the morning, right? Mm-hmm. So these were small steps. Okay, I got to move this client. Okay, that gives me this time. Okay, now I have to make the decision to actually do my workout. And what's been happening now? How long have you been doing your morning routine here?
Forever. And also I just changed an order of it again, because part of the thing that I was wanting to do, I was like, I could tell I was talking myself out of it. So I literally was like, okay, well, we're just going to move it up in the morning routine so that we actually can't do the other things that we want to do, that we're not negotiating beforehand. It was just like, it's the handstand push-ups, the things that I have these goals on, and they're fucking hard. And I want to be the person who can do them. I don't want to be the person doing them. So it's a problem right now. But at the same token, like, I just moved them up earlier in the morning routine so that they get done sooner. Eat the frog.
All right. So finally, let's talk about those beit action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Di Manuel? I'm going to hop in first here. He talked about celebrating your wins.
You know I'm about that.
Oh, we know you are all about that. And I know when he was telling his story about the hill and his bicycle when he was in his early or mid-teens, one day he finally got to the top and he was like, I did it. Just did it. Right. And the just did it thing is so funny. I think it's really clever. And I hope he makes merch out of that. A check mark instead of a swoosh. And instead of just do it, it's just did it.
Yeah. If he can do that, though, I want just be it. I'm just saying, I'm fighting with you all. I want to just be it. I just want to just be it.
Just be it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay. Anyways, back to these.
And the celebration of it, just like you were just talking about with your morning routine, as you are making those adjustments to your morning routine, you feel good about it, right? And if you acknowledge, I felt good about this today, guess what you're going to want to do tomorrow? Feel good again, and it helps build momentum. Yeah, you got to, and I know it sounds hilarious to say it out loud by yourself, but you have to find some way of actually celebrating in that moment. And maybe you're someone who likes to check a box off, or maybe there's an app you use that like Monday does this little like confetti thing for us every time we hit done. So you got to find something like that. I mean, you could do this after you leave a workout. Like I don't really, I never liked going to the gym, right? And I don't always enjoy the workouts. Like sometimes I'm angry at the end of the workout because I hate that I just did that. I really hate when I look at the board and I'm like, none of these are moves I want to do today. Right. But at the end of the workout, I literally tell myself, I'm glad I did that workout. Mm-hmm. And I mean, when I used to work in the restaurant business, when I was in my early teens, my friend always told me, and I don't know how I remember to do this, but he said, when we're in the kitchen, if you're going to walk out on that floor, he said, when you walk through this doorway, you have a smile on your face. Oh, we had that also like with work. It's like when you walk through the door, it's showtime. Like, like leave your problems at the door. This is the time to like have fun. And like, even that can help you feel like you're celebrating a little bit. But when I would go out on the floor with a smile on my face, I would have fun on the floor with my guests. Yeah. And then by the end of my shift, I was enjoying my shift. Yeah. You would be in until you see it. Yeah. Yeah. And so, this momentum, this celebrating that win will benefit you in all sorts of aspects of your life. All right. My biggest takeaway was, this is just like, I love this. Non-negotiable every day, 30 minutes for yourself. So even if you're like, you guys, I cannot at all get up any earlier. I cannot do these things, whatever, blah, blah. 30 minutes for yourself, non-negotiable every day. 30 minutes by yourself. Okay. So he casually slid in there the statistic that, all of a sudden turned my head and I was like double checking his math. He said 30 minutes a day. It's only 2% of your day. I was like, bullshit. 2%. But it is. It's 2%. 2% of your day. 1,440 minutes in a day. 30 minutes. Yeah. Is only 2% of 1440. So, Brad, are you going to start taking 30 minutes every day for yourself? Think that I can. I think you can. I mean, it's it's 2% of your day. It's only 2%. Yeah, and he says move for 15, 5 minutes of meditation, and 10 minutes of personal development. Yeah. And so, like, even that, like, if you were someone who's like, what do I do for 30 minutes for myself? 5 minutes of meditation, 15 minutes to move, 10 minutes personal development. Yeah, he said do it in the order of movement, then meditation, and then the personal development, because when you do... This podcast can be a personal development, by the way. Yeah, absolutely. He said, but you become a sponge after you've worked out your body, you've given your mind some space, and then you learn about you. You work on only you. He said, not business development, personal development. Yeah. Then you become a sponge. Yeah. And so if you are like absolutely in love with the enthusiasm that Di had, I mean, it was 1,000. Contagious. It's contagious. The good kind, the best kind, the kind you want. And you're like, yeah, I need 10 minutes of personal development. Guess what? Check out his book, The Whole Life Fitness Manifesto. You could absolutely set a timer for 10, get a kitchen timer, and check that out. And let me know if you do. My name's Brad Crowell. I'm Lesley Logan. We'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you for joining us today. Brad's trying to do my job, so I'm going to do my own job. We are so grateful that you're here. We really, really are. I hope you enjoyed this interview. I hope you enjoyed this recap. Let us know how you're going to use these tips in your life. Let us know if you get Di's book. And until next time, be it till you see it. Bye for now. That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it.
Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell. Our associate producer is Amanda Fraterelli.
Kevin Perez at Diseño handles all of our audio editing.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jaira Mandal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Perdoso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Angelina Herrico for transcribing each of our episodes so you can find them on our website. And finally, to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.